Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, we're going to try and tackle the chief challenge of AUSTER, the one where we have to use the fire damage in order to beat it. And, well, I was doing some testing, honestly, and it's pretty difficult, I'm not going to lie, because, well, at the end of the day, this is one of the tough bosses because you need some specific things in order to counter it. And, well, I tried to use some free-to-play heroes in here, and let me just show you exactly what I tried, and I'm gonna tell you the damage that I did. So obviously fire damage, if we try and use the most free-to-play stuff that we can get, is going to be something like, what's his name, Horus, then we're gonna go with Erich, and then we're gonna go with the Adventurous Fire, okay? These are the first three that are gonna be the core of your team. If you're, if you're free-to-play, these are the heroes that everybody should have for free. Then we're gonna need another two people. First of all, it might be somebody like a Hexandra, okay? Because she's from the same pairing, she's gonna give you the healing, she's gonna give you some cleansing, and then we want the last one to be somebody that's preferably a fire damage, okay? I do have somebody like a Tunnelon, I can just throw him in there, but this might not be relatable. However, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna keep Tunnelon in there, and I'm gonna show you exactly how this one goes. And I'm gonna tell you from now, this is not easy, okay? This fight is not going to be an easy fight because with the free-to-play stuff, you're not gonna be able to do some crazy damage. Let me just see that I still have gear on people. Seems like half of them are missing gear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw some gear on people, and then I'm gonna come right back and I'm gonna show you. And actually, instead of Tunnelon, I'm just gonna use Foley, okay? Just a random other one. Like, I don't have a rare build, unfortunately, another rare wild hero, which could be somebody like a Thea. Okay, she could be a good example, but I'm just gonna put some gear on Foley, and in order to make it as relatable as possible, I'm not gonna use any negative runes on anybody, okay? So I'm gonna go build the people, and I'm gonna be right back. Okay, and we're back. So I kind of put some gear on everybody, and I removed some of their some of my epic and legendary artifacts that I have. The only one that I'm keeping is the Horus with the Crown of the Unclean, because you know what, if you have at least one dupe in the game, you're definitely gonna be keeping the crown on him, just so you have that defense penalty there, so you can do more damage. Now let me see if I have the right positioning, because this is something that's really important to keep in mind, because this boss has this ultimate hit that does a pretty wide area. So depending on how you have them positioned, you kind of prefer to have him hit Horus and Hexandra if you can. So these are going to be the two people that are close together, but because of the way that I position them, there's three people in there, so it doesn't work as I wanted. So if I just go and redeploy, I'm just going to have them go like this, and hopefully, because he's spread out, now hopefully the boss is just going to hit Horus and Hexandra. He basically has that range of 3 by 3, but then he has another ones going on the outside. I can show you that as well when I go into the... Actually, I'm not sure if we can show in the fight, or I just have to show on the hero's damage. But at the end of the day, the thing is, it's really hard. It's pretty hard. And the best that I could do with some relatable stuff, such as this, is somewhere around 3 million. And that might have to be most of you, most of us, would maybe do somewhere around 3 million. Then if you want to try and get to the next step of getting somewhere around 7 million, you're going to need some specific, some specific buffs and debuffs, but mostly is debuffs and healing. So after that, I guess I can also show you, but maybe I keep that for another showcase, because I want to show you the 11 million one. But the thing is like this, you get so much damage, and basically what you're going to try and do for something like this to try and do the best of your capabilities is do as much damage as you can as fast as you can, because the boss keeps ramping up with this, and he keeps gaining so much more damage that, look at this, we already had our new our tank die. And it's, again, I use some relatable gear, so I try and keep it as relatable as possible, and still look at this, we did basically 3.5. So from my point of view, most of you out there that are free to play or low spenders are gonna try and get yourself that 3 million damage, okay? It's not as easy as, maybe I made it look, but if you have some decent gear and you have the right synergy in there, it's gonna make it work pretty well. So if we have a look at the boss, what I'm talking about, this is the area that he hits, and you definitely want to make sure that you have your healer and your tank be the only ones that get hit. So by having the positioning that I showed you, that should be the best way in order to do that. But then after that, you also keep in mind that he does this where he's going to ignore defense. So the best way might actually be to go more HP than actual defense, because even though it's a 50-50, if he does ignore the defense, doesn't matter how much defense you stack on your tank, it's gonna ignore it. So that's not the point. Another way to make this one work, for example, with with having the targets to be on the right people, is to have another melee unit. So for example, like I showed you, if I have Tunnel on in there, Tunnel on will go like this. If I keep them like this, again, spread apart, let me show you what I mean. The boss is going to target the people that are in front, okay? So we have 2 here, 2 here. He cannot hit more than 3. So what he's going to target is always going to be the people that are in front, okay? And one thing that would be really important, for example, if you could bring in the team, would be before the boss does his AoE hit, you would like to have a decreased attack. So you would like to have that attack penalty on the boss as often as possible. You do have Horus that does it on the battle skill, but it's not reliable enough, okay? So from what I tested, just having one is not reliable enough, especially because Horus has it on a, it's only a 75% chance to land, so that's not good enough. One hero that was good that I noticed that I used for this team, and that's going to be the team that I'm going to show you as a showcase later on. That's V-Cook, okay? V-Cook brings you a cleanse as well, and that helps you because after the boss does ultimate, you see the frost that stays there. That means every time when he does an attack, he's going to attack all the other people with frost. But I just want to show you again the positioning. If you have them positioned like that, the boss will only do this ultimate on the people that are in front, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, let me just show you a little bit the builds that I had on the people so you can have a rough idea of like what I had on them in order to do that 3 million damage, which, like I said, I feel like that's going to be the aim for most of you. So I do have my average scrolled up, which honestly, I don't believe it's a bad idea. He can be pretty decent. He's not the top tier, the best damage dealer in the game, but he can be really good, especially because of his passive. Paired with some other wild people, it helps a lot. He's gonna do some decent damage, and he's a good enabler for other wild heroes. So I have him in a gambler set, okay, because, well, he does multi-hits on the ultimate, so this can proc some damage. The best one might actually be the executioner one, which ignores defense, but I do not have enough of that one. So I just went with this, like crit rate on this one. Just gonna go a little bit through the pieces of gear. I'm gonna stop it, so, actually you can stop it. You can stop the video and have a look if you want to. I'm just going through them. Then when it comes to Horus, like I said, I did the crown, I did put defense in here, defense percent. I basically tried to give him as much skill haste as I could, and I tried to give him the accuracy to land his debuffs. I feel like we need somewhere over 260, 270 accuracy if you want to land our debuff. So I kind of completed a set of Wrath of the Trolls and a set of Brotherhood Spirit so that he comes back to this one faster. Maybe if you had another person that would wear the Crown of the Unclean, so if you had somebody else that does debuffs, like that brings attack penalty, you could put that the crown on that person, and maybe it would change, and you would have, let me just go to Horus and show you, if you want his attack penalty to land as often as possible and be as reliable as possible, you might want to put Everand's Arrow, because this one boosts the chance of him landing debuff from his battle skill. So this might have to be the best one for him. Then if we move over, let me see to the next one, then Hexandra. I have Hexandra in a full set of the, of the Wrath of the Trolls. Again, you want to give her as much of the skill haste as you can, and then after that maybe pump a lot of enlightenment and attack. Don't really worry about her survivability, because as you saw, she doesn't get hit, okay? So early on in the fight, you want her to do as much healing as she can to be helpful for your tanks or the people that are in front. If you're using the tactic like I showed you, where she's the one getting hit alongside the tank, then yes, make her tanky, okay? And then, even like this, you see I have some attack percent, then attack percent, enlightenment. I'm basically trying to boost her healing as much as I can. I use the Meditator's Pipe on her. You could also use the Luminary Gospel Orb. You can use the Mirror of Living, whichever artifact's gonna boost her healing as much as you can. Then if we have a look at Foley, Foley again has Heart of the Gambler because she has multi-hits, so that's helpful. If you have, basically keep in mind like this, if you're going to use Heart of the Gambler on someone, it has to be on people that do several hits or more hits in their kit. Otherwise, this does not benefit them as much, and then you might just go with Executioner, or maybe go with the Wrath of the Trolls to get more skill haste, help them survive, or maybe even this one, even though you might not benefit from Enlightenment in Fire People, you benefit from this one. The damage bonus of 30% when you do your ultimate is gonna ramp up your damage. But for now, I just had her with attack percent, some crit rates, attack percent, as much damage as I could pump out, because like I said, it's a race against time. Do as much damage as you can, as fast as you can, Gave her the crit damage one that here, even though it's like HP percent doesn't really help. It's, you know, I used rare artifacts because I tried to make it as relatable as possible. And then I think the last one was the adventure, right? So I already had, let me see, Foley. Yep. Okay, so the last one, the adventurer. The adventurer had in the only executioner set that I had that was decent. Attack percent here. Some crit rates in there with, you know, crit rate, crit damage, whatever you can get. Crit damage with crit rate again. Try to get at least like 60 to 70% crit rate minimum, but obviously it's ideal to be 90 to 100. Then I used the Elven Quiver, and then over here more crit damage. So yeah, I guess what I'm gonna leave it at this. I just wanted to show you a free-to-play version of a team for dealing damage to AUSTER and trying to get as much as you can. And like I mentioned, I feel like the best way and like the best damage that you're gonna do early on is gonna be aiming somewhere towards like 3 million. I'm gonna have to try and test some other stuff, but the problem is going to be like this. If I try to bring some other epics in the team, people might be like, oh, but you brought this one, oh, but you brought that one. And that's hard. You know, it's hard for me to showcase with only rares that are specific for this. It's going to be more difficult. So if I'm going to show you, for example, the team that I'm doing 11 million with, it's this one over here, okay? And this is going to be the team that I'm going to make a video on, and I'm going to show you later this week. But like I said, it's these ones, I think. Let me see, like this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Nope, like that. I have to remember exactly the way that I position them so that the boss hits only them. But again, I'm going to make a video on this team, and this is the team that I'm actually using myself in order to do the 11 million damage. That's what I used last week, and that's what I'm going to do again this week, and I'm just going to show you. It's going to be some manualing, it's going to be some other testing, and, you know, having the right positioning again, having the right timings and whatnot. So this one, again, he shouldn't be here. I think he's a little bit more backwards, and then Hexandros to the front. But anyway, this team is going to be for another video. So I think we're going to leave it at this for today. I hope this was helpful. I hope this gives you some ideas of what you want. Like I said, you need to have that attack penalty there. You need to try and ramp up as much damage as you can in there as fast as possible. And if you have, you know, if you have problems with the frost, try to bring somebody that cleanses it. Or one thing that I tested is you can have resist, okay? So let me show you one last thing, I guess. You can have resist on your people. So as an example, if you have like, I showed you the first variation with Foley. If you have Hexandra as one being hit, then make sure you give her resist. If you give her resist, she's not going to get frost on herself, so that should keep her alive better. And that way, you know, the two of them will be hit, only the tank will have the frost, and hopefully she's going to cleanse it. But anyway, this is going to be it for the video today, guys. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.